Composite or wood? That was the question in the poll we ran a couple weeks ago. Composite or wood-handled splitting maul. Look at this. Look at that thing. Tool 60-40 split. 60% of you folks, fellas, gals, preferred the traditional heritage style tool of the wood handle. And then the rest of us, well, in the minority, ta-da, plastique. Now, before you go ahead and say, well, man, that's the last thing I need to see is another splitting maul comparison, well, I would agree with you. Because what shone through in the few comments from the poll and from how I feel about the subject, it really has nothing to do with the splitting maul itself. Again, it doesn't have anything to do, I think, really with what the handle is made out of. It's the feel that the tool gives you, which got me to thinking, does the feel of the tool have to do more with the experience than the actual performance of the tool? Oh, that's a little soft. Because, oh, of course, I picked a real dandy out of the gate here. There we go. One of the comments read that they like the feel of the wood-handled split and maul in hand. And I think that that's very relatable. There's so much stuff that we do nowadays that doesn't really tie you to the work. It doesn't really have any feel about it, you know. You're a lot of folks, a lot of gentlemen, maybe you folks living in the city, well, you don't do a lot of work that really gives you that, what am I trying to say? That traditional feel. That traditional feel. It feels like you're accomplishing something, maybe doing something in a way that used to be done 100, 200, 500 years ago, where the tool was in your hand and that tool was made of steel, the handle was made of wood, natural from the earth, or maybe that those folks that originally made those tools, they made them themselves, and it grounded you to the work. It gave you a bit more of a purposeful feeling. Man, I don't care if it does, even if it is made out of plastic, it is hard to beat that. The shape of this splitting maul, I tell you, it's fantastic. I think it feels that it fills a certain void that a lot of folks probably are searching to fill, you know. You wake up in your house, your neighbor is 6 inches away from you, you know, your windows probably line up. You got to draw the shade so you can have a private crap in your bathroom in town. Then you get in your plastic car, and then maybe you drive to your job at your plastic desk with your plastic chair under your fluorescent light. And it leads to a little bit of a feeling of emptiness. I know it did for me. I've mentioned in past videos that I frequented an office once or twice, briefly when I had to. Oh, that's the ticket. When you just split it just enough that it still holds together. Can we do the 4-way split? Oh yeah. Whereas, you know, I'm real fortunate now. I get to work outside. I get to work with my hands all the time, real tools, and it does give you that grounded feeling and a real sense of satisfaction. So I can't help but think that the splitting maul poll is a reflection of just that. Is it the tool that performs better? Well, I doubt it. This is just a plain old 6-pound split and maul, nothing fancy. It's actually just got quite a short handle, about a 32 inch straight wooden handle. Yep, look at that. Splits that old block just fine. You could get by just fine. But if you were out and you took a time to ponder what you were doing, I think this gives people more satisfaction just for that reason. That's why people get swept up in the crazes of marketing about all natural, organic, handmade, you know, this kind of thing, because it gives a real sense that you're grounded to a way of doing things that doesn't really exist anymore. And I'll tell you, guys need that. They need that feeling to be healthy, in my opinion. That's this big old gnarly spruce from perhaps the last video, was it? With the magic stump that fell over. We'll get her up and put away before it snows on it, but there's no difference as to why you'd prefer the wood handle over the plastic handle, other than this gives you that traditional sense, and it feels good because it feels good to accomplish things. It feels good to do things with your hands. Come on, baby. And guys need that. I don't care what you say. Whether you're, whether you get that from your job or you get it on the weekends. I see YouTube channels where, or there's one in particular, I can't remember what it's called. He's a lawyer. The gentleman's a lawyer, but he spends all his free time doing bushcraft and survival things and woodworking. And because you're drawn to that it gives you a whole feeling to do that sort of work that guys have been doing for centuries and centuries before you. So when I put up the poll as to what's better, composite handle or wooden handle, well, I knew what the answer was going to be, and I probably could have guessed why it was going to be that answer. Man, like a rookie, I just keep driving the old mall right in the middle of the block. You want to get her on the edge first. Who's going to move all this wood? I'm always short on help. I guess more sense of accomplishment for me. If people didn't need that feeling of real world things, natural things, steel tools, a wood handle in your hand, the sense that gives you, well, then you wouldn't see people at the park walking their dog. They'd just be happy to live in their apartment or their suburban house, and they'd never go outside. And I'm sure some people do, but they're out trying to get a little closer to something that they know they need and makes them feel good. Oh, that's frozen to the ground. What do we got here? A couple freebies? Oh yeah. Well, no, it's too big. The firebox on that furnace, wood handle, bam, is quite small. The upside of this Fiskars too, if you can see that, it's got the old sledge face on the other end. Makes it handy because if you got a real gnarly block, you could be driving a wedge into it. See, you like the wood-handled tool for the same reason that your couch dog house pet still howls once in a while. They still got a little bit of that, what was left of the wild in them, maybe. That's how I like to think of it. I got a lot of picking up here to do. Anyways, as these episodes of A Thought with Scott just dribble drabble on, there's no finer luxury than being able to hold a long conversation with yourself, especially if you work alone all the time. If you're forced to enjoy your own company, you might as well get good at it. Oh, this must be the butt end here. The old butt end. So even though this is a little bit punky, a little bit rotten, we've been loading the stove, the furnace up, and getting a full 10-hour burn out of it. So basically, I go to bed, wake up, and get my coffee and, you know, a bunch of other shit done and whatever, and I don't have to relight the furnace. Is she still going? Just plug it in and go again. Should we try this lunker with the old wood-handled maul? See, we're doing apples and oranges here. Look at the handle length difference, so more leverage, and this one's 2 pounds heavier, and the wedge shape, well, it's superior. Oh, I spoke too soon. That was a lucky hit. That was a lucky hit. You're gonna think I rigged that on you. Oh man, that was satisfying. Look at that. All except for this one piece here. Should we take a break from this? I got a little treat, a little teaser for it. I want to share. We just stick right there. I'll be right back. Did you stick around? I'm probably gonna shove a teaser clip in at the start of the video and put this in the middle just to make sure you were paying attention. Look at this. Look at that thing. Look at this Lunken heavy beast of classic chainsaw. This is the Sachs Dolmar 133, 85cc with a 36-inch bar that we worked a little deal on. She don't run at the moment, but with any luck, it will. And if we don't have enough luck, well, shit, we'll at least try our hardest, but might have a few plans in store for this. Let me know in the comments. You guys familiar with any of this? Because I'll tell you, this is not for the faint of heart. In fact, before we jump into a little bit of a short series on this beast, without Googling it, I want you to guess how much this Sachs Dolmar 133 with a 36-inch bar and chain on it weighs. It has no fuel and it has no oil in it. How much does this baby weigh? Well, I got a big block that got away. Of course, the less you split it, the better the burn time you get out of it. It's denser that way, but now let's just address a couple other things because I know it gets on people's minds. Yep, the old wood handle, it can be replaced. It certainly can be replaced, but it is also more apt to need to be replaced because, why do I keep going over there without a tool? Here, let's use the wooden one over here for breaking them loose, and we'll use the old dreaded Fiskars maul for splitting them. Yes, the wood handle you can replace. You probably have a good time doing it. It's a leisure activity. Nothing wrong with rehandling an axe or a maul. But the handle is also replaceable in this Fiskars. It's got a bolt. Plastic comes out, plastic goes in. But of course, that's not true for all composite handled tools. If you had to, let's put it this, if I had to pick the splitting maul, I'd pick this one with the plastic handle. I really like it. But if you and me were digging a hole and there was two choices of shovel, one had a plastic or fiberglass handle, one had a wooden handle on the shovel, well, I would pick the wooden handled shovel as my preference. Anyways, was there a point to all that? I'm not sure. Everything in life just comes down to personal preference. You use what works for you. And if you do have an opinion on something, whether it's something simple as what type of handle you like in your splitting maul, or something a little more complicated like current event or political issue, well, hopefully, like a big boy, a grown man, you can voice that opinion in an articulate way that's constructive and helps move people forward. Like I said, even something simple as a maul handle can ruffle somebody's feathers where they want to discuss it. We'll catch you on the next adventure.